feeling sorry. Don't you look at me like that when you break my heart like that, like you're feeling sorry, 'cause you're not feeling sorry. Hey, hey. Don't you look at me like that when you break my heart like that, like you're feeling sorry. It's your fault. Now toss the salt. Don't you look at me like that, walking out the door like that. You're not feeling sorry. It's your fault. Now toss the salt. Devil on, it's a devil on your shoulder. Devil on, it's a devil on your shoulder. Devil on, it's a devil on your shoulder. Swag and play the fool, babe. Just play the game and hold on, maybe. But I'm done with the waiting, done with the waiting. I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me, tell me, tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go? Last with nothing to obtain, so let's level up to remain. 'Cause I'm done with the waiting, done with the waiting. I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me, tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go? 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 I'm riding away tonight. Gonna try it while the world's bright. No room for one if that's alright. That's alright. Do you wanna go? 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 Do you wanna go?
You know that I'ma keep it cool. With you I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us too. Playing around without a clue. On the edge, leaning out. With us it's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing. But guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you're asleep. With us it's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you.
everybody. You guys. Holy crap. I totally screwed up. You can hear me. I had to check. Whoa, I had to make sure. Yeah, I had the wrong thing selected inside of StreamYard for the audio, so you weren't hearing the music, right? So thank God I saw your guys' comments, and I was like, hey, there you go, right? There you go. So, oh, yes, typical Tyreek. Thank you so much. We hit 600 subs yesterday. Super, super, super excited about that. In fact, it actually happened when I was on the phone. So yesterday, I was on the phone with Sylvia Nixon from Press & Sew. Press & Sew is an amazing company. They do on-demand drop shipping of merch. Merch. Yep, it's coming, my friends. We're going to have some merch. We are totally going to have some merch. It's coming soon, I promise. I literally was on the phone with the company I'm going to be using yesterday, and we were on the phone, and she's like, oh, I just became your 600th subscriber. So it literally happened yesterday, and I totally got to be on the phone when it happened. So thank you so much. Appreciate it, you guys. We have some new people here today, I believe. So if you're new, if this is your first time catching me new today, I would love for you to tell me that in the comment that you're new, right? So Rizzo says, love the haircut. Guess what? Right after this stream, I am getting my haircut. Okay, babe, see ya. So I am literally getting my haircut right after this stream. So it's going to be, this is actually two weeks old right here. So every 2 weeks, man, this is getting trimmed up, but thank you. So Rizzo says new, fantastic, fantastic. John Pullum, you're not new, but you knew to be here, right? Love what you did there. Love what you did there. Hello, Kimberly. She is also here. Yeah. The merch, you guys, I feel like I have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I'm surprised you don't have a silver play button yet. You are a star in the world. Needs to see you. Well, thank you, John. I have no idea what the silver play button is, but we're going to learn, right? We're going to learn. So, Fixed Point, first-time watcher, fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's fantastic to see some new faces here. I have a feeling a few people are hanging out with us because they're coming over from Kirk Nugent's video last night that I did. I was on his show, How It All Works. Kirk is doing great stuff. In fact, I'm going to be having Kirk on the show sometime later this summer. I'm going to have him talk to you guys about how he prepares for his shows because his workflow and his show flow is so good. It is so, so, so good. So I'm really, really pumped about that. But yeah, I was over on Kirk's show last night on How It All Works, and we talked about some live streaming tools and some ways to add personality to your brand, and it was really fantastic. So super excited for that. So if you guys are coming over here from that audience over there, welcome for sure. So, oh my gosh, we have so many awesome people here today. This is fantastic. What? Griffo Production says, I'm new. I'm 16 years old. I have my own company and I produce 9 talk shows. 7 of them are on StreamYard. Fantastic. That's freaking cool. That is so cool. So congrats and welcome, Griffo Productions. Fantastic to see you. Lauren is here, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. She's here to watch us today. John says he watched Kirk's show yesterday just for the mellow of it. John, you're so funny. I love all your stuff. So Ariana's here from PokeGal over on YouTube as well. So welcome, Ariana. Glad to see you here catching me live. So yeah, let's cover this first. So I want to say today I wanted to come on and give you some permission around marketing best practices. So we're going to talk about that, but this is also our weekly marketing chit chat live Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to post those questions with a Q in front of the question so I can find it. All the conversation's fantastic, but I get that Q in there so I can quickly find your question in the comments feed. I'm using StreamYard. I always like to make sure everybody understands that I am using StreamYard. This production is powered by StreamYard, which basically means that I'm able to display comments. I can put these little banners at the bottom, the lower thirds. It's super easy. There's a wasp outside. It's okay. It's all right. It won't hurt you. You'll be okay. Don't mess with it. It literally, I can put the banners at the bottom like you saw. I can have my logo in the top corner like such, right? Like that. And then all the fun stuff. I can have overlays. We can talk about all that stuff. But this is powered by StreamYard. So it's a tool that I use to push my live streams. Now, I'm also using OBS. I'm bolting on OBS, which is a whole different platform, and I have the virtual camera turned on, which is how I'm able to do this, which I know we had somebody ask the question as we were getting started. It's me. It's there it goes. So which is somebody asked, it's broken. I broke it. I broke everything. It's all broken. I don't know what's going on. I broke it. So something's happening. But the transparent countdown that you all saw in the beginning was, now I know what's going on. That was actually all powered through OBS. And so you use OBS to control what the webcam's going to show, and then you turn on virtual camera, and that's what you display. You select that virtual camera in whatever platform you're using to go live or a Zoom meeting or whatever, and there you go. So that's the short answer to that question that I believe it was Griffo Productions asked earlier. I do have a live stream on my YouTube channel where I went live and I did a live recording of me talking about all that and explaining all of that. So it's, I have a more tutorial based thing coming out soon. But that right there, it's going to be your fastest way to go figure it out. I am using an app called Wavelink, which came with the Wavelink microphone in order to push the music to you in the stream too. So there you go. Does stuff get broken? No, I messed up. I've got too many things going on here and I totally screwed that up. So what happened was, so I got it fixed now. What happens is in this scene in OBS, we're not going to get too technical. In this scene, when it's over, it automatically takes the video away, but it was still on the scene. So when I was trying to click back to the scene, it was already on it. I wasn't in my just camera scene. So that's why it wouldn't actually show it to you. So it's just that I broke it, right? So sometimes we break things. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, though, is we're going to be talking about, as I mentioned, I want to share with you guys some tips, some thoughts about marketing best practice. Oh, John, you bought me a taco. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please use this to buy one soft taco, one hard shell taco. The value you talk about, you could probably also get. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, John. Super appreciate you. That was fantastic. And you saw that fun alert. That's all because of one of my followers. A few of my followers actually helped me out. CK, I got to give her a shout out. She helped figure that out, troubleshoot that a little bit with me. And that's all being pushed through OBS as well. So thank you, John. I really appreciate the tacos. Appreciate that so much. You guys, I'm actually, once I hit $300 in the tacos, the Buy Me a Coffee concept, which if you're on YouTube, you can see that link up above. Once I buy that, you guys are going to help me. We're going to go shopping. We're going to go shopping for some new fun stuff, right? I think we're going to add some new things. We're going to switch out some different lights, and we're just going to keep adding to my set. So I want you guys to be a part of that journey with me. So let's talk quickly about a couple updates I have for you, because first of all, something semi-breaking news is going on with Facebook today. I've been posting about it in my Facebook group. And if, by the way, if you're not part of my Facebook community, it's an open community. It's free. It's for anyone that is doing their own marketing. So if you consider yourself a DIYer, you're figuring this stuff out, streaming, building a business online, whatever it might be, if you want to come and join a bunch of other freelancers, entrepreneurs, small business owners, online entrepreneurs, whatever we call ourselves these days, right? But you are considering yourself a DIYer, you're kind of scrappy, right? Come join that community. Come join us. We talk about these things. I was just sharing in that community about this thing happening with Facebook. So if you're in there, you probably already saw it. I am going to talk about it briefly here in just a moment. So the other thing, let's go back to this merch conversation. I am working on merchandise. So I'm going to be doing a couple of special streams where I would love for you guys to join me and let's have a conversation here and talk about what you guys want from merch. So the Press and Sew website is an awesome place. You can get merch from Kirk Nugent. You can get merch from our friend James Hicks, who sometimes is in these streams. Sammy Cool, who's sometimes in these streams, right? Doc Rock, who's sometimes in these streams, hanging out with us in the comments. But it's a really cool thing where I can create these designs and I can decide what I want, right? We literally had a conversation about lava lamps, creating custom lava lamps, mouse pads, t-shirts, right? Mugs, those types of things, where they handle it all. So I get my designs together, I work with them, I set my store up with them, and then you guys can buy merch. And you better believe we're going to have some merch that says getting scrappy or scrappy not crappy, all that fun stuff. You better believe that stuff is coming. You guys have asked for it, and we are working on it. So as I mentioned yesterday, I was on the phone with Sylvia from Press and Sew. We were going through the logistics, and she became my 600 subscriber. So well, Ariana, thank you so much. How did you do that? Well, it's an OBS thing. So it's a plugin. It's a thing that you can add to your OBS from Buy Me a Coffee. It's actually pretty easy. It was pretty cool. So thank you, Ariana. We'll do a special show. We'll talk about that, Buy Me a Coffee stuff and how I did that. But I will quickly show that to you in just a moment. So this is cool. So Future Cars Man of Life says, yes, I'm loving the community. For me, the Facebook stuff was, Yeah, so some of you and Ariana, you also were like, what's Clubhouse? We'll get to that stuff here in just a sec. We're definitely going to get to here in just a sec. So, okay, let me check on you guys really quick in the comments before we jump into some more stuff. Yes, okay, this is cool. All right. You guys are just ready for today's show, aren't you? This is fantastic. Lauren, I see you've got a question. This is fantastic. Okay, let me see here. La, la, la. All right, you guys, this is going to be fantastic. I'll get one of those stars. Yeah, that's going to be a ways away, I think. John, I think we got some time for that. Oh, Chris. Got to say hello to Chris. She's an old friend. She's in our group, I believe, watching, hanging out with us. So welcome, Chris. Good to see you back. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to switch some things up here. La, la, la. So because PokeGal bought me a taco, I am going to really try to briefly explain how I did this. Let me get my stuff set up here. I'm going to share my screen so I can tell you. Ariana, are you? Aw, you are fantastic. Ariana, thank you so much for the tacos. Really, really appreciate it. This is actually super fun and super cool. So John Pullum and James Hicks were pushing me. They were telling me, you need to get on Buy Me a Coffee. And a few weeks ago, I had James Hicks on the show, and he talked to us all about this Buy Me a Coffee site, which was really, really great. Which was really awesome. And I learned more. I really knew a little bit about Buy Me a Coffee and what it was, but I was like, holy crap, I didn't realize it had all these cool features. And so he went through that. So if you guys missed that show, make sure you go. If you're on YouTube, you can see the playlist where it has the marketing chit chats. Go check that show out. We talked all about Buy Me a Coffee. And so one of the things you can do in your Buy Me a Coffee account is you can go to your settings. Now I'm ready to share. I'm going to share my screen. I'm using StreamYard to share my screen. So you're going to, now you see that. So here we are. So here's OBS, right? This is how I'm controlling everything that's going on over here. Now, it's really easy to do this. So Ariana, if you're using OBS, I don't know if you are yet. I know you've been kind of dabbling, but I believe Streamlabs also, if I'm not mistaken, has a way, you can also use it in Streamlabs, which I think you were playing around with that. I'm not really totally sure, to be honest with you, but all you have to do is you go, let's change the color, by the way. I've been meaning to change it back to purple. It's been on yellow. So literally right here. So if you guys do it now, after I save this, it'll actually change to purple. But all you have to do is you take this URL, you copy it, okay? And actually, I'll send a test. We'll do that. You copy this URL, and then over here in OBS, you create a source that is a web source. So you just say add, and you go here where it says browser source. And then, you just, do demo. I'm going to say demo. I'm going to create new. There it is. So there's the one that, well, it's showing up in here, but there. See it? It changed to purple. Now that's the test one. That's not the real thing, right? All right. So let me go back. So we add the source, Ariana. So you create a source, you say, okay. And then you just copy that browser. See, remember this thing right here? You copy that and you put it right here. And when you do that, it's going to add that into your, as an overlay on top of, so you see it here, right up here. You would want to, obviously, I didn't do it that time, but if I change it, so you move it, make it sure it's on the top, so it's on the top layer of all your sources in OBS. Once you have that turned on, you actually have to resize it. We discovered you have to make sure it's the right size. And so move it around. But we talked about this a few weeks ago. I did a working stream, and CK joined on, and Cassandra, and she helped me figure this out. And so we got it all figured out. It was freaking awesome. And we did it. So now every time somebody buys me tacos, then it will do an alert because I have that set up. So that's a super fast, really down and dirty explanation of how I did it. But you just go to your integrations and Buy Me a Coffee. You can even change the sound if you want. So you can upload your own sound. I'm going to try to find a different sound effect that I have from Epidemic Sound. And then we'll use that. So that's the down and dirty quick way that I did it. So hopefully that answered your question. I wanted to make sure I did that. So, okay, let's get with today's topic, and I want to get to your questions. So, but again, super big shout out to John, Ariana. Thank you so much for doing that. Yes, it should. I would think that it would work the same way. So Future Cars Man Alive says StreamYard or Streamlabs has a browser source thing too. So you should be able to use the same thing, right? You should be able to use the same thing. So, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have an affiliate link for Buy Me a Coffee. John is like, John, will you you're hired. You're my affiliate manager. That's what you're going to be. You're my monetization, my affiliate manager for sure. So, okay, let me get to what's really important today. And I want to talk to you guys about, first, I'm going to give you this permission and we're going to talk about this crazy breaking news because I have a fun way I'm going to share it with you. That's also another thing you guys are all going to ask me. How are you doing that? You love it when I share how I do stuff, right? I got a cool thing I'm going to do and I'll tell you exactly how I did it. So, but here's the deal. I want to get this conversation out of the way. I wanted to come on today and I wanted to talk about this. I think it's really important that we stay knowledgeable, that we're always learning, and that we are researching best practices. What are the right things to be doing things? What are maybe some things to avoid? What are, all that stuff. What platforms are best for your business? Should you be live streaming? Should you not be live streaming? How many times should you be posting? I think it's really important to be knowledgeable about what's going on in the world of marketing, about what's going on and how our viewers are consuming information. Pay attention to your analytics. Watch those things. But I think you have to really consume that information with a grain of salt. And here's what I mean by that. And I've talked about this. And last week we talked about this because Billy was asking great questions in our Q&A. And he was asking, should I go live every single day? Somebody gave me that recommendation that I should go live every day. Somebody else was asking, what time should I be going live? And this has been coming up a lot. I think that a lot of people I'm noticing are feeling a lot of pressure. They're feeling a lot of pressure to be doing all the things, right? Either doing all the things or doing the one thing and doing it all the ways, right? And so I think that there are so many opportunities for us to be showing up. John, even the Buy Me a Coffee thing, the link and making sure that I have that link there and all that stuff. Like, yes, I should have all that. I should have everything optimized. But again, you can only do so much at one time. You can only evolve so quickly, right? And so all I really wanted to say here was I think that you should totally be listening to best practices. Is it best practice for me to have my Buy Me a Coffee affiliate link ready so that when somebody says, oh, I want that, then I have my affiliate link ready? Is that best practice? 100% best practice. Totally just like it's there, but it's not my priority right now. Like it's not my priority in this moment. Doesn't mean that John's wrong, right? And I love John. I literally love John. I'm so excited that he keeps encouraging me to do these things, but it just means that in this moment, I'm not going to worry about getting distracted, going and grabbing that link so that I can have that here. Shame on me. I didn't have it ready, whatever. I'll make sure I think about these things later. This is called optimizing, right? You want to be optimizing your presence. You're online. If there's a way you can make a few bucks, if there's a way you can make a few dollars from affiliate links, yes, you should, right? But you can also, for me, I'm like, okay, keep that noted for next time. But I'm focused on you and I'm focused on this content and this is what I can handle right now in this moment, right? So it kind of goes back to what I was telling Billy last week. I said, you got to do what works for you. Yes, there are best practices around like the best time of day maybe that you should be showing up online. Best time of day for you to do your live video. The ideal quantity of live videos that you're doing. All the repurposing that you can be doing. Yes, ideally every live show could become a podcast, could become a blog post, could become 8 social media posts. Ideally, right? But you got to do what works for you. If you can't handle that right now because of the phase of the business you're in, because maybe it's just you right now, or it's just you and a couple of VAs, or it's just you with a limited budget. For whatever reasons there are, you have to do you and you got to be able to do it your way because if you can't serve yourself, you aren't going to be able to serve anybody else. So if, for example, if I use this example all the time, it's probably not best practice to go live at 11 p.m. at night. Okay? But if that's the only time that you can figure it out in your day and make it happen and show up in your best self in your best way, then that's what you're going to have to do. Because if you force yourself to go live at 8 a.m. in the mornings and you're like, that just doesn't work with my schedule, I'm barely awake by then, and you force yourself to do that because that's the best time of day based on your analytics or whatever. These are not real numbers, by the way. These are exaggerated examples. If it doesn't work for you and you do it, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get resentful about 8 a.m. live streams. You're going to show up with this, not the same amount of energy. You're going to get there and you're going to be like, oh, I got to plan my live for tomorrow. Right? Even though 8 a.m. is the best time. Is it the best time for you? You have to start with what works for you. Because if you can't feed yourself or serve yourself, fuel yourself, you aren't going to be able to fuel your audience. And the same goes for which platforms you should be showing up on. Maybe your best platform based on your content and your stuff is LinkedIn, but maybe you hate the LinkedIn platform. Maybe you just don't like it. Maybe you just love Facebook. Well, be knowledgeable that it's probably best for you to be on LinkedIn. But if right now in this phase, you just can't add that because you hate LinkedIn, then keep showing up on Facebook, but don't leave LinkedIn in the dust. Put it into a bucket of maybe later, maybe someday, right? So again, I think it's really important to be knowledgeable and to understand the world and to know what the ideal scenarios are. But then you also have to understand where you fit in that in the moment, right? So where you fit in that in today's world. And so, for example, my YouTube strategy is it's not ideal. I know that there are all these things I should be doing. I should be trimming each of the videos. I should be editing the descriptions. I should make sure I have here are my favorite tools, all my affiliate links, all those things. Those are best practices to optimize. There are certain types of videos, videos on demand that I should be creating, not just live streaming. 90% of my content on YouTube right now is live streaming. That's because that's the world I'm in right now, and that's what I can handle, and that's just what I'm doing. I know what I should be doing or what I want to be doing. I have the goals because I know what the best practices are. But in the moment right now, I have to give myself forgiveness and grace and just keep showing up the way I can in the way that I can with energy, right? And so what I want, this pep talk was to give you some permission to take some pressure off yourself, to be in all the places or to be doing all the things. If you're ever feeling burnout, if you're ever feeling like your energy is zapped, then don't be everywhere. Right? Don't be everywhere. Don't do the best practice. Understand what best practice or ideal might be, but then figure out where you need to be today, right? So that you can be showing up in the best way that you can, right? And Laura says, you don't bring your best self if you don't listen to yourself. That's another great point. You got to listen to your body, your heart, everything. Are you excited? Are you ready? Are you wanting to be in the presence you're in? Or are things taking away from you? You got to be mindful of that. I'm not very active on Instagram. That's another example. I'm just not that active on Instagram. I should be and I could be, but it's easy and natural for me to show up over there more personally than it is to be more professional. And I think that's because I haven't gotten my headspace into that, right? But I used to kind of feel guilty about it. I'm like, God, I'm helping people with marketing. I'm trying to give people recommendations and encouragement about how they should be marketing themselves. Instagram should totally be a part of my strategy, right? But it's just not right now because it just isn't. And I have let go of that pressure. And I have decided, give yourself grace, Mel. Give yourself grace. Keep showing up so that future Cars Made Alive, Ariana, Laura, John, Billy's back here. What's up, Billy? All the same people keep coming back every week, hanging out with us. Right? Over and over and over. I'm doing something right? And so I want you to figure out what that is for you. But I don't want you to think that means you can just do it your way and do whatever you want. I want you to stay knowledgeable and I want you to stay up to speed on what's going on in the world of marketing. But I just want you to also know that you got to do it your way. You got to figure it out, right? Doug says, I get overwhelmed with all of the learning, which gets in the way of implementing. I need to just show up and learn from experience. Yes, Doug, I will tell you, that is such an easy trap to fall into. It's so easy to be consuming information all the time. And then next thing you know, you don't have the time to implement, or you're so overwhelmed with all the bells and whistles of what you should be doing that you don't ever make a decision and start. I will tell you, I have been there. I have been in and out of that phase. I can catch myself falling into that phase sometimes. I also can catch myself that learning and consuming is avoiding. So I actually posted last week a podcast episode from Shailene Johnson. I love Shailene Johnson. When I first started listening to podcast episodes years ago, she was one of the first shows that I was listening to. I don't listen to her that regularly anymore, but that episode I shared inside of our Facebook group yesterday last week was so good. And it was all about this concept of sometimes the things we're doing are actually us just avoiding the things we know we should be doing. So, but yes, it's totally true. It definitely happens. And there is the phrase that Billy is saying, jack of all trades and master of none, right? Yes. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys that pep talk. If anybody was needing it, let me know what your thoughts are about that. The next thing I'm going to talk about before I start jumping in and answering questions, and I think I saw that Lauren had a question. So if anybody else has questions, let's keep them coming. I saw that she's got a question about her Mac that she's going to be getting, which is exciting. So yes, so if you have questions, go ahead and post those with the Q in front. We're going to go into live Q&A here in a moment. But here's the other thing, breaking news-ish today. And you guys be watching because it will be coming out. Welcome, Don. Welcome to the show. He's back. Thank you, Laura. She said, great pep talk. Okay, so here's what we got. Let me do something really fast here because I want to show. Whoops. I'm going to show you guys something. First of all, I'm going to show you something that I think that you will think it's cool. I'm going to use the Reflector app, which I just learned from my friend Christian, who I think was on here a second ago, that now there's a Reflector 4. So hopefully I don't need to make any major changes, but this will work just fine today. So I'm using Reflector. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to add this to our stream. Actually, I'm going to try it at this size. I think I'll try it at that size. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to enter this code, 6764, on my phone, and it's going to show you, it's going to let me display my phone. Let me get it oriented correctly. Okay. Well, it's orienting. It's not reoriented. It should reorient. Let me see. Hold on. So what you see right there is my phone. Oh, it's because of the picture. All right, so here we go. Maybe once I do that. It's not, I don't know why it's not reorienting. James, you were texting me when I was showing this. So look, did you guys see this today? There was a audio room today for the first time. So Facebook it's no surprise, right? So Clubhouse is a social platform that came out recently last year. And it's audio only. So it's audio rooms only. It was originally released to iOS only. Now it's iOS and Android. Basically, it's like chat rooms, but it's all audio. There's no visual aspect to anything. It's literally like the old AOL Instant Messenger chat rooms, but it's these audio rooms. And so what they did is that they just like, it kind of like took the marketing world by storm. There's still a bunch of people. I know that in the group, I know Ariana, as well as Future Cars Married Life, they were like, what's Clubhouse? I've never heard of it. So not everybody has even heard of it, but it sort of like was this big thing. Well, anytime one thing works for one platform, you know the other social media platforms are going to want to take it over, right? Or they're going to want to take that same thing. So TikTok, right? Well, let's start Snapchat. Snapchat had the filters for your face. Well, the next thing you know, Instagram and Facebook have filters that you can put on when you're doing things, right? It's on your face. Then there were Instagram stories that came out because of the stories you could do in Snapchat. Facebook stories came out. Then TikTok takes the world by storm. Well, then next thing you know, Instagram has Instagram Reels. Now YouTube has YouTube Shorts, which is like stories. So they're all they're all copying each other. It's just the way this works. So it should be no secret that when Clubhouse did what it did and created this disruption into the social media world, that the social media platforms are then going to say, hey, I think that we need to do this. Twitter got on it first. So Twitter has this whole audio thing. But here we are. Facebook has now, today, literally, I went on, as you can see, it was 12:30. And I'm like, what is this? And this was at the very top of my newsfeed. This screenshot's from the very top of my newsfeed. And it was like, first of all, it's prompting me once again to create a room. But it says audio and video rooms. But I will tell you that as of even right before the stream, when I click on that button, it still only lets me create a video room. Okay? So the audio thing's not there, but this tells me it's coming. They're teasing it. But this thing right here, Mark Zuckerberg, 1 p.m., live audio room, beta test. So I'm like, yeah. So I clicked view details. I basically said, I want to get notified of this. It gave me all these options to share the room. So there was that. Hold on. I shared it in my Facebook group. Oh, it's not going to do that. That won't play the video. Oh, yeah, well. And then I went, and when it finally happened, this is what it was. Now, I'm sorry that it's not, my phone's not orienting. The Reflector app apparently is not perfect. But this is what it looked like once the audio room was going on. This is actually, it did not look like this on my phone. It was the full screen. But it was, if you've used Clubhouse before, then you know this is basically what it was. But the difference was these captions. The captions, the closed captions were in there. I was able to turn those off if I wanted to. I just went to the settings thing. And then here I was able to turn those auto captions off if I wanted to. So it was actually really cool. I was able to click a share link, the share button at the top, and I was able to basically copy the link and share that anywhere. I was able to write a post if I wanted to, but then this share to a group thing was right there too. Again, anytime you see something that Facebook is putting into your face, it's something they want you to do, right? It's kind of something they want you to do. So I shared it in my Facebook group, and I also invited a couple people. I clicked a couple people, right? And it was really fascinating. I will say, so there it is at the top of the screen. That's what it looked like when it was live too. So it was said it was live. And then down here, I was able to listen, minimize it, and still use my phone and go through the app. I didn't have to leave Facebook. Like, I mean, I actually could leave the room and then still kind of navigate around Facebook if I wanted to. So again, I was able to stay in the app and multitask essentially. Pretty interesting. Really pretty interesting. So that's essentially what this was. So what does this mean exactly? Well, it's funny. Melody says 21st century radio. I was there. Yeah, honestly, like, oh, now it's going to work for me. Let's try this again because I want you guys to see what it broke again. Dang it. Broke again. Oh, did you hear that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I got to teach Addie some things not to do while I'm streaming live. Okay. So here's what happened. So this was this beta test, and they had these gamers in this beta test. Okay. So they, again, back to, there was the people in the room that were talking. It was like they were on stage, right? And then what happened was they were talking back and forth, but then they started talking about, they used this beta test of this audio room to announce a couple of things coming. So I was like, well, this is cool. So they used it to announce some things coming. And one of the announcements was fan groups, which I think are going to be monetized, but they're going to be ways, they said they want to create ways for gamers, streamers as well, to connect with their community outside of that live gaming experience. So they wanted to be able to do that. And so they said they want to have a way for these streamers to create communities, and they're going to call these fan groups. And that even if they want to get online and say, looking for players, I think this is sort of them competing with Twitch. This is, again, Facebook is pulling all these things, and they're trying to put all these awesome solutions in one place. So the other thing that they said was they aren't going to take any monetization from these fan groups until 2023. They're not going to take a cut of any of that revenue of each of those people until 2023. So I thought it was interesting that they used this beta test of this audio room to also make announcements. So I don't know. We'll see what's happening, but here's what I believe this means. So future cards made life. So Clubhouse is clearly rooms on Facebook. So similar, but different. So yes, but Clubhouse really wasn't anything overly innovative. It's just, I think people were just excited about something new, and it was very different than anything else out there. But literally, it says, Lauren says, there's an audio live event through the Facebook Power Admins group on Friday. We were told it is available on mobile only. Interesting. Okay, there you go. Very cool. So there, it's coming. So this whole audio feature for us, I believe I think it's going to be rolling out. The fact that they've already changed that button at the top, and you know what, they'll probably won't roll it out to everybody at the exact same time, because most likely, you know how it goes. They roll things out to certain people first, and they like to get the kinks worked out, and then they roll it out to everyone. So I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. I did the Clubhouse thing for a little bit, then I got kind of over it. For me, I'm more likely to use this audio rooms feature to listen to audio rooms that I'm interested in inside Facebook because I'm in Facebook. We're in Facebook all the time. I don't want to have to leave one app, go to another app. If I'm in this experience already, I was able to create a post about it, share it in my group, invite my friends to the room, copy a link and share it in a text, all without leaving the platform, all inside of the community. Facebook is like the world of where people are hanging out and communicating. So the fact that this is inside Facebook, in my opinion, I think this means Clubhouse is going to be dead. It's already like not as popular as it was, but at this point, why would people go to Clubhouse when all this experience is going to be happening inside Facebook where most of the people are hanging out anyway? There are people that are very anti-Facebook. They're like, I don't even have a Facebook profile, or I do, but I'm never on there. I just hate it. There is a place for you. Maybe it's over in the Twitter audio place. I don't know, but this stuff's coming. It's interesting. And it's just, again, this is an example of, hey, be aware that it's out there, but don't don't let that bright shining object derail what you're doing. Right. And so I share that information because it literally was interesting to me and it was happening today. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I also am annoyed that the Reflector app bugged out on us on that and didn't let me orient my phone correctly. Okay, let me see here. Our AOL chat room is making a comeback soon. I doubt it. But I think that all of this stuff is happening in all these places. It's pretty cool. So let me go up. I know I had some questions that I wanted to get to for sure. Let me see. Lots of chatter from you guys. Let's see here. All right. I know Lauren had a question about her computer. I want to get to that first. There it is. All right. I took the plunge and I'm getting a Mac tomorrow. I'm very used to using StreamYard on my HP, which is a PC. Anything special I need to know that will be different? No. So that's what's super cool about browser-based applications is that you're going to be essentially the same. The only place where you might run into some differences is how you hook up your equipment to your computer. So, hooking up your microphone, your camera to your Mac might be a little bit different, and there might be a learning curve there for you on how to operate the settings and things like that on your actual system. But when it comes to using StreamYard, no, the experience is essentially the same. I don't have a Mac, but I just know that. And it's the same with most browser-based, applications and software. So that's actually kind of nice that when they work both ways. When it comes to software installed on your computer, that is where there might be differences because of the way the operating systems work. But browser-based stuff typically works the same, cross-platform, cross-function, or cross-systems and all that stuff. Okay, Griffo, I see this. He says, I'm trying to add transparent GIFs to StreamYard. I watched your one video, but for some reason, StreamYard isn't allowing them. Griffo, if it's not allowing, it should prompt you with the error. It's most likely your file size. So StreamYard will allow you to upload GIFs to your overlays section. You can even upload them to the logo, and you can even upload them into the background. However, they cannot exceed 3 megabytes. They really can't even hit 3 megabytes. They need to be under 3 megabytes. So it's highly possible that your actual file is too large. So you might check that, but it should prompt you with the error. If it's not prompting with the error and it still isn't working, then definitely reach out to support@streamyard.com. They are super helpful over there and they can help troubleshoot your unique situation about what's going on. And Future Cars Marry Life basically said the same thing. So there you go. So yeah, I'm just catching up with you guys here. So, okay, let me check this out. Griffin says, when I use OBS, it only shows on my camera. Is there any way I can fix that? It only shows on my camera when I use OBS. I don't know exactly what you mean, Griffo. Maybe restate your question. Oh, I'm sorry. Now for the lower thirds. Okay, so when I use OBS, it only shows on my camera. Is there a way I can fix that? The lower thirds. I don't know. I can't really specifically trouble that one. I'm not exactly sure totally what you're talking about specifically, but also I'm not exactly sure what... basically the way it works is you set up OBS, okay? You set up your scenes and make sure that when you say it's showing up on your camera, that's what I don't understand. So your setup might be very different than mine, but you would want to, So in your OBS, you have your scenes and you want to make sure they're turned on. So right here. So these are all, some of these are not visible, right? So there's an overlay. This is just an image and I can turn it off if I want to. This is the little GIF that I have in OBS, no files restrictions in OBS. And I can turn that on and I can turn that off right there, right? I can also toggle between cameras if I want to, but typically what I do is I just go to my behind the scenes switcher. Like this is a different scene, but I also use my Stream Deck to do that as well. So my Stream Deck, I can push Cam Link, goes back to that scene. I can click behind the scenes, goes to that scene. I can even click screen 2, which takes you to the second screen, which is now Inception. But then I can do screen share here, which creates this custom screen share, which I never really use because I like the screen share option in StreamYard as it is. So I typically just do that one. So it could be the way you have them ordered in your scenes. I'm not totally sure, but I wish I was an OBS expert. I am totally not, but I know enough to be dangerous, right? Okay. Checking stuff out. Okay, I'm scrolling back down to see if we have new questions or more questions. So Future Cars Man Life says, because of you, Mel, I uninstalled Streamlabs. OBS has transparency for countdown and more features, even though Streamlabs is created by OBS. I got some really good advice from some people that basically told me, don't use, like they're similar, but I had a lot of people say, don't use Streamlabs, use OBS. Because I was going to use Streamlabs and they said, no, just use OBS. So I don't even really know what all the differences are. I just know that I was told by people that I trusted not to use Streamlabs, to use the OBS. But here's the deal. Those applications are not where you should start, right? So all of you that are starting, that's you, again, you can do fancy fun stuff, but focus on your content first, get going live, just use StreamYard and the functions and the features that it gives you because they're great. And then you can start to add in some of these other complexities. That's exactly what I did. Start going live with your phone, then move into browser-based software. And then if you want to add some of these extra bells and whistles, you can, but you shouldn't start there because you're going to get hung up on all that. And to add everything we were talking about earlier to what Doug said, you're going to get stuck on learning and consuming information and you're not going to be implementing. And we need you to be implementing, right? We need you to be implementing. So yeah. Okay. Let me see. Let's see if anybody has any more questions. I feel like I saw another question. I know I did. I know I saw a question. Okay, here we go. So Griffo says, is there any way you can connect OBS, but not just through your camera? Because whenever I add a guest, then show a lower third or something, it will only show on my camera. So yeah, so you're using the OBS lower thirds. I would recommend you do what I do, Griffo, and that is just use OBS for you and your scene, but use StreamYard's lower thirds, those banners and tickers. Use that. If you want to make custom ones, then you might want to look into just designing your own custom ones and then uploading them into your overlay section so that you can have those custom ones. So for example, this is considered a custom. This is just an overlay that I did. That's but that looks like an upper third or whatever, right? So you could totally customize them. But maybe you're trying to do something else. I'm not totally sure, but I would say use the StreamYard features because it will go over everything, even when you have a guest. So if you have that guest and you're both in both windows, then you're right. If you're controlling all of your overlays and lower thirds in OBS, it's only going to show up in your window because that OBS virtual camera it's just for the webcam view of you. But so I would say use the features of StreamYard for sure. Back to what Lauren asked earlier. So Mike here with Never Let the Machine Win. Mac versus Windows. Biggest difference is that the close window button is on the opposite top corner. Thank you. Yes, the browser is going to be a little different. So, okay. So if you're using OBS, so when I add a guest, it only shows on my camera, not the whole screen. So again, use OBS to control you, but use StreamYard to bring your guests in. That's, again, there's a big difference between like if using OBS to control everything versus I'm just using OBS to control what you see in this window right here. And that window moves when I share my screen and do other things, which is fine. So that's all my show, right? But if I'm bringing guests on and stuff, I'm not using OBS to control the guest. There are ways to do it. I don't know how, but I know there are ways to do it. You can use this whole process called NDI. I do not know how to do that yet. But Griffo, what I would maybe recommend is go check out. So first, Kirk Nugent, I will say he's doing great things. He talks about a lot of this stuff on his show. Impartial Geek is also really good at David Foster. He's really good at that stuff with OBS and other things. Live Streaming Pros, I love Live Streaming Pros, but they don't tend to talk about OBS very much as of right now. So I don't know if there'll be a lot of help for the OBS stuff. But there are other people. Future Cars Man Alive, you have some good resources. Maybe you could share some of the YouTubers that you follow about OBS as well, and how you've learned a lot of the things that you've learned. So, okay, John, I'm glad that we're in your pocket and you're listening to us. So I love that John is always mowing the lawn when it's time for me to come out and talk to you guys on here. So it cracks me up. Let's see here. Da, 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 da. The Artist Haven is here. Hello. She says, always know enough to be dangerous, right? Totally. Always know enough to be dangerous. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I know I got a couple more questions. I'm just going back, checking, make sure I didn't miss anything before I keep scrolling down. Just don't want to miss anything. I think we're in good shape. Griffo, I will say, I wish I could be a little bit more help with you, but I'm just not like an OBS expert. I know enough to be dangerous, like the Artist Haven said. Okay, let me see. Ariana, she says, do you know if people can make a custom amount from Buy Me a Coffee? I don't. I know that you can, like, for example, one taco is like $5. You can buy more than one taco, right? I know that. But I don't know if you can do a custom. Maybe that's one of the other things. Maybe there's a feature that I can add to my Buy Me a Coffee where I could let you make a custom donation. That's definitely possible. I just haven't dabbled in that just enough yet. I haven't had time to. John is mowing the lawn, so unless he stops mowing and comes on and tells us that, I know he would know the answer. But if anybody else knows the answer to that, you can definitely let us know. Let me see. Griffo says, I found you from Live Streaming Pros. Yes, in fact, I was just talking with Gloria the other day. We're getting ready to do another collaboration video, and then I owe her a Friday date where I'm going to come on and do a Q&A with her again. It'll be super fun. I love doing that kind of stuff. Okay, here's a good one. Michael, I'm never going to be able to say that. Farrer Jr., that's her go-to OBS guy. So there's a good one, a good recommendation for us if you're wanting to learn more about OBS. Check that out for sure. I'm always looking for good people to follow. Okay, Doug Mattice. Do you have any recommendation for a foam windscreen suitable for my Blue Yeti microphone? Just go to Amazon. So definitely, do I have mine? No, because I just put my Blue Yeti away because I'm trying to declutter, everybody. I'm trying to declutter a little bit. So yes, you can buy a foam windscreen that goes over the Blue Yeti. So here's what I always say when it comes to these windscreens. The windscreens are they look like a little sponge. And it will help with the plosives. So the Yeti does tend to bring in plosives. But honestly, Doug, I didn't find a need for that except for when I was podcasting and I was talking really close to my microphone. And so, turn that gain way down. If you're doing a podcast, turn that gain way down, get really close to the microphone because it sounds so much better. So I definitely do not think you need it if you're going to be using it for your live videos. But if you're going to be using it for the podcast, you definitely want to get either a windscreen or just get one of those pop filters. So it looks like the little circle, like a screen, and it's a circle, and it attaches to your, your arm, your boom arm, and it comes around. I actually used to use one of those, and I thought it worked really, really well. I just ended up taking it off and putting the windscreen on because I was using that Blue Yeti for both podcasting and live streaming, and I didn't like the way the windscreen or the pop filter looked in the shot for my streams. And so I just went with the windscreen. But you can definitely check out Amazon. But here's what I want you to do. You need to get a really good dense one. It's the density of these things. Some of them they're just really thin and those don't really work that great. So you want to get one that's got really good density to it. Read the reviews. Definitely do a little bit of research. They do not cost very much money, so that's a good thing. And so yes, I definitely would say check it out. All right, Don says, do you have a Wavelink person you would suggest for help? Made the move, yet still confused on the way everything sound has to go to OBS versus StreamYard. Okay, so Don, actually, you know what you want to do? There are a bunch of videos about Wavelink on YouTube. Here's what I would caution you. When you search for the Wavelink, Wavelink questions, you're gonna find a ton of videos. They're gonna come up. At this point, they're probably about 9 months old. Those are all the people who got a free Wavelink, and Elgato said, we're sending you this microphone, do a review of it, yada, yada, yada. I would not even really pay attention to a lot of those just because that was when everything was brand new. The app has had a few updates since then, but there are people that have some really good videos about getting started with it. So just be careful about the date of the videos, and that's just a little tip, about the timeline about when you want to be consuming that content. But here's what I do, Don. Don, I do not route my audio through OBS. I'm using StreamYard. My audio, when I go to select my microphone, I select the Wavelink Stream. And so the Wavelink Stream, what that means is, that anything that's routing through this, which is the virtual audio mixer, is what StreamYard's going to pick up. As you can see here, my browser is still playing music because I didn't stop the music. So here's the music that it's still going. My playlist is all the way down here. And if I turn that up for you guys, lock that, turn that up. Now you hear the music, right? I'm not routing this through OBS. I'm simply just picking the Wavelink Stream as my audio. And what the Wavelink Stream means is that it's everything in here. You also will have the option, you'll notice, Don, that when you go to select your microphone, it might say just the Wavelink, Elgato Wave 3, or it might say Wavelink Browser. If you select one of those, it's only going to pull in the audio from that source. But when you do a Wavelink Stream, it's going to pull everything in here. And as you can see, I actually have my Elgato Wave 3 off, and it's muted. I'm not playing Spotify. The browser's going. If I pause it, that will stop. You notice that little thing stopped. I have my system, and then I have my XLR. So I have added my new XLR microphone as an audio input source into Wavelink, and I'm just using that. Now, if I push this button right here, you couldn't hear what I just said. I said, I'm going to keep talking and you can't hear me, right? So I don't actually route it through OBS. I simply select the Wavelink Stream for my microphone in StreamYard. And then I just pick whatever headphones I want to be listening to. I am currently listening through the Focusrite, which is this thing up here, okay? That thing right there, because the XLR mic has to route through that, and then that goes into the Cloud Lifter, the mic goes into the Cloud Lifter goes into the Focusrite, which is the interface, that goes into the computer. And I am listening, my headphones are plugged in right here because I want to be able to hear my microphone without any latency. So there's your down and dirty. I don't have a expert for you, but based on what you just said, I think you want to consider routing your audio through. Just go right into StreamYard and use the Wavelink Stream as your audio source. And then if you are exporting audio from OBS, you want to make sure all that's turned off because you'll get a echo. Okay, I've got time for a couple more questions. I would love to stick around longer, but I have an appointment. Obviously, gotta go get this haircut. Billy says, do you have any recommendations as far as creating templates? Sometimes I don't have the time to do it, and to be honest, mine are not that good. Are there people who create them? Yes. And I think you're talking about Canva. So Billy, I know, is a Canva user. You can totally hire people that will design templates for you, and they design those things, and then they simply share the template file with you in Canva. And when you go to open that template file, it's going to make a copy of all of those files into your own Canva account, which you then can do whatever you want with. You can find designers that literally specialize in creating designs in Canva. So I would recommend go to Fiverr. You might find some people up there. There's Upwork, or just look in the world of, where you are and just start asking around. There are a lot of graphic designers today that, while they prefer to work in the Adobe programs because that's what they grew up learning, they can create designs in Canva. Now, there's another interesting thing that is kind of cool that Canva has recently done. You can upload a PDF and it'll take everything it sees in the PDF and try to make all the elements and then it's a Canva design that you can then edit. What? Doesn't always work perfect, but it's something worth trying. Future Cars Man Life. Well, what if you use on a ring light, like those big ones, and someone's take that advice after bouncing the light? Will that person need to buy more light to bring the stream or work with it? Okay, I think what Future Cars Man Life is referring to is recently I took my ring light and I reversed it and I bounced it off the wall. I did have to turn the light way up because obviously, and I was using the reflective light off the wall versus the specular light coming directly from the ring light. You could definitely try that. If your light is powerful enough and if your walls are bright enough, you may not need to buy more lights. However, you may, if you want to go with that look, you may have to add more light. I think that's what you're talking about. My new setup is no longer the ring light. It's now, I have an Elgato Key Light Air right here. And then over here, which you can't see, I have an Elgato Key Light Air, and it is actually reversed and pointing and it's reflecting, and it's getting the soft light. So hopefully that was the answering your question. I feel like I saw. Okay. All right, Dawn, I hope that works for you. Maybe if you've got other questions about it, let me know. Join us in the Facebook group, and I would love to try to figure something out for you to help you figure out what it is you are trying to purchase. Cynthia, you're here. It's the end, but that's okay, right? She's here, but that's okay. You're catching us at the end. I'm getting ready to close this down because I've got a hair appointment I gotta get to. All right, so okay, good. Answered your question. Fantastic. Okay, we got one more question. Doug says, I purchased the M6 headphones. I think you're talking about these, the Me Audio. When talking with them inserted, I feel like I have a head cold. Is this something that you have to get used to? You wear them all the time, so you didn't know if you have the same issue. So what he's talking about is what happens is when you wear a lot of headsets, especially ones that fill your ears all the way, they're airtight. It's like talking with fingers in your ears, which I personally do not love either, Doug. I hate that feeling. That is actually why I actually like to hear the audio coming from my microphone. So Doug, with your Blue Yeti, if you plug your headphones into the jack on the bottom of your Blue Yeti, the headphone jack, and you have your Yeti hooked into your computer, you're going to notice when you do that, you will hear your voice coming, like you talk into the microphone, and you will hear it in the microphone in the headphones. Then when you're in StreamYard, when you go to select microphone, you're going to select your Blue Yeti. But then when you select your speaker, I want you to select the Blue Yeti headphones. That will be one of your options. Select that. And then that will actually help that clogged ear effect. I can't stand it either. I don't like it. Some people, it doesn't bother them. I do not like that feeling. I like to hear, and that helps with that. It's called a hear-through concept. And so you're actually listening to yourself through the Yeti, but you're also listening to everything else. So try that. It might help. And I only wear them. I only wear headphones when I am playing. I could actually take these off right now if I wanted to. I totally can take them off because I'm not introducing any other audio. So you don't have to wear headphones unless you're playing other audio from either a guest coming into your stream, you're playing music, or you're playing videos with sound. So if you don't like that feeling, take the headphones out. You only need them, again, when you're having other audio in your show. So good question. All right, my friends, I hate to run, but we talked about in the beginning of the show. So Cynthia, I know you're just now joining. If anybody is just now joining, go back and watch the replay. I gave a big pep talk about listening to marketing advice and strategies, but taking it with a grain of salt because you got to make things work for you. And then I talked about the crazy new update that is coming our way with Facebook audio rooms. We talked about that a little bit. And then of course we went into Q&A. So again, I'm here every week, Tuesdays at 2:00. So if you're one of those new people that's just hanging out with us, definitely subscribe to me and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out. I'm live every Tuesday at 2:00. And then as always, join us over in the Facebook group, the DIY Marketing with Facebook group. I would love to see you guys over there coming and hanging out with us, asking questions, serving you, answering questions in whatever way that I can. And that's where I like to hang out with you guys, and that's where I serve everybody. So you guys are the best. I'm going to be back next Tuesday, 2:00. I'm working on some other fun shows. I got some guests getting lined up. I was on Kirk Nugent's show last night, so go check that out, how it all works. That show, we talked about, we had a really great conversation last night, and it was a lot of fun. But I also want you to watch that show because I want you to see how Kirk runs his show. His show flow is so impressive. It was so cool. He's using Ecamm to control everything. So very similar to how you could use OBS. And then he's using StreamYard and Restream at different times to multi-stream and to pull things up. So definitely a really cool show format, something new for you guys to check out and see. I would definitely highly recommend it. It was definitely a good show, and I loved it. So it was fun being over there. But next Tuesday at 2, I will see you guys then. And until then, you know the drill. Go be awesome. Go do something fun. Take some action. Don't be sitting around on this stuff. As Doug said earlier, it's easy to get overwhelmed by learning all this stuff and then you're not implementing. So take action, get going, do some stuff. And until next Tuesday, have some fun. I'll see you guys. Bye.